Today we're going to be changing the engine coolant sensor on a 99 Mazda b4000 V6 4.0. This is going to be the same for your Ford Ranger. And I haven't found much information on this truck online and on videos, so that's why I decided to make this one, to try to help you guys out, because I can't find anything. To the best of my knowledge, this is a 99. I believe in 98, 99, and 2000 have this same 4.0 engine. In 2001, they changed this 4.0 engine, and the engine sensors and everything's in a different place. So I can't find anything on this, so I'm going to kind of tell you what I know. This sensor here is a coolant temperature sensor for the gauge on the inside. It tells you your engine temperature. So that's the easy one to get to. So of course it's not that one, but if your gauge is not working, that would be the one you need to replace. The one we're going to be trying to replace is underneath all this junk, and you can barely see it right there. That sensor down in there, that is the one I believe that I'm going to be trying to get to. So we're going to have to remove the intake hose here, some bolts there, unplug the throttle position sensor, unscrew these bolts here, move this cover off. Probably going to have to take throttle body off, and I'm going to go ahead and try to do all that, and then I will show you the results afterwards and see if we need to take anything else apart. Just trying to help you guys out because there's not much info on this. Alright guys, I got some more stuff apart. Got the top plate off that was sitting here to shield, so that opened it up a lot. And I took the intake hose off, got that out of the way, just unloosened the clamp there, unloosened the clamp on this side, and that'll just slide off. And getting ready to take the bolts out of here for the throttle body. Take this off, and I think we're going to get to it pretty easy. It's sitting right there now, so you can see it pretty good. If you got the right tools, you can probably get it off without taking all this other stuff off. But I'm just doing it in case you don't have the tools for it. I think I could get it off, but I also want to inspect the wiring on the harness because it's really trapped in there tight. This little black hose here went on the bottom of the throttle body there. See that hose piece there? This was down in there. So just take some needle nose pliers, pull that out of the way, because that was sitting right on the wiring harness, very tight. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off, and then I'll get back with you. Alright, we got the throttle body out of the way. It's actually 4 screws in there. So 3 in the top here that you can see. And then it's not going to come off till you get 1 down at the bottom you can't even hardly see. And it'd be a good idea to go ahead and clean this up. Spray it with some cleaner because it's really dirty. And there's our sensor right there. The coolant temperature sensor. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the wiring harness off of that, and then got to get the right size wrench to screw it out of there. Alright guys, everything out of the way, got to the sensor there, and there it is. I broke off the end piece right here, the wiring harness piece, which I don't think is a big deal because the new one comes with that. But the socket's hard to get on there. So what I used was a, looks like 3/4 will work. 3/4 inch, but you're going to need it short enough because you got to be able to get your head up in there on the socket. So a deep well, a long deep well is going to be a little bit too long, I think. You can also try with a pair of pliers there, but it was really tight in there because it's been there a long time, I guess. So you need to go ahead and take that out. And when you get that out, you see the antifreeze from the engine down in there. But that's the piece you're looking for. And make sure your new sensor looks like the old one, like that. See how the tip is on it? Because the one at the auto parts store for the other sensor there, when I was telling you about, does a gauge, that one I believe had a flat tip on it. This one has a pointed tip. So the guy told me if you pull it out and you see the flat tip, you need to change, go to the other sensor. So this is the right sensor. So the other one is for the temperature gauge inside. This one's for the actual computer, like for the engine coolant temperature. So you want to go ahead and screw that back in, and you don't want to break the tip off of this one. If yours doesn't come with the thread lock, you might want to put some on it. And you just want to tighten that back up. Make sure you don't break the wiring harness on that one. Alright, I got it tightened back in there. Need to make sure you got it pretty tight. I ended up having to use this box wrench and just keep going around a little at a time, because all of my deep sockets are too deep in there. The ratchet is hitting on the intake there. So I don't know, maybe you got if you got a little bit of a medium size one, you might be able to get it. But just make sure you don't break off that wiring harness clip. So go ahead and make sure it's secure. Go ahead and make sure your wiring harness is clipped in good. Pull on it, make sure it doesn't come out. Then you can go ahead and start putting everything back together. Start with putting your throttle body back on, bolting that in, and then your intake. Make sure your throttle position sensor is clicked back in. Make sure that rubber hose gets put back on the throttle body on that hose right there. So there's a lot of stuff, just double check, and I'll go over it again once we get everything bolted back in. Alright, just to make sure you're clear, make sure I explain it good. You got I'll put the 3 bolts in at the top of the throttle body. Go ahead and snap back in, make sure it clicks on your throttle position sensor. And there is that hose down in there. Make sure you get that back on. And it's tight down in there. And there's our sensor that we just replaced. And make sure you get that last bolt back in. It's right here on the bottom. So it's 4 holding this on. And then we're going to go ahead and clip back on our intake manifold and that little cover piece on top. Alright, that should be it. You got everything back together. Make sure you got this little cover here, got the 2 bolts there. Make sure that's in there the right way. Make sure you clipped on your harness here on your throttle position sensor. And like I said before, make sure the hose down there is clipped in. There's our new piece we put in down there. It really looks like it's hard to get to, but it really wasn't that bad of a job. So make sure you tighten these screws up for the intake. One there on the hose clamp. Make sure this tube is tight in there and where it went into the oil filler net. And make sure you put in the connector back in right here. And that should do it for this video. Also, just let you know the tools you need. All these screws here were 8mm or 5/16, and that did all of them around. And the actual sensor was a 3/4 or 19mm. So that helps you out on what you need. So hopefully this helped you guys out, because I couldn't find anything on it, so I'm kind of learning as I went too. Let me know if it helped you out in the comments. If it didn't help you out, you don't need to let me know. I appreciate you watching. Please like the video and subscribe. I need more subscribers, so hit the button. It's free. Thanks for watching. Hope you catch another video soon.